So welcome back to another rebuild here on NBA 2K24 Next Gen. In today's video, we are back with another episode of our prospect rebuild series, and today it's going to be Stephon Castle with the Portland Trail Blazers. As I'm sure many of you are aware, last summer the Portland Trail Blazers went ahead and moved on from their franchise star in Damian Lillard. They sent him over to the Milwaukee Bucks, and they have now entered a full-scale rebuild here in Portland. This team finished with a record of 21-61 throughout this regular season. It was tied for third worst in the league, and even with that, they still ended up with the number 7 overall pick. So, Stephon Castle is a very interesting prospect for me. He has some pretty glaring weaknesses, but he also has some really, really exciting strengths about him. So we'll talk more about that once we get into the video. He's a guy who can play multiple positions, and honestly, when you're in a position like Portland is, I always think it's smartest to take best player available. So that's what we're doing here today. I'm excited for this one. Of course, as always, let me know any other video ideas down below in the comment section. I'm not sure how many more prospect rebuilds we're actually going to have until the actual draft happens, obviously, but I have been really enjoying these in the offseason rebuilds and everything in between. So anything else you guys want to see, make sure to let me know down below. Let's get into this one. We are going to wait to kind of go ahead and talk more about this roster until after the draft, but as things stand, as I kind of mentioned, this is a rebuilding team, and they are in a phase right now of their organization where they're not necessarily attempting to win the most basketball games and be very, very competitive. So let's get into it. I know a lot of Blazers fans have varying opinions on Chauncey Billups. A lot of them do not think he is a good head coach, and I kind of understand that. I don't really put him in high regard in terms of the NBA coaching circle, but for now, we'll keep him as those ratings are okay, but the potential there is really, really good. So this is not an indictment on how I actually think he is as a coach. We're talking strictly about 2K at this point. So we're up to the draft. As you can see, I have many other teams selected as well. That is so I just have the draft order kind of go exactly the way I anticipated, at least at this moment. So let's just do it. Let's just do it. We'll get all the way up to our pick. As you can see, number 1 here, we're taking Alex Sarr for the Atlanta Hawks. That's what I did in the prospect rebuild. Reza Shea going to go number 2 to the Wizards, as I'm sure many of you are aware, and I know this is very, very boring. So let me just go ahead and do all this. And then it was Klingon to Houston. It was, where the hell am I now? I'm with the Spurs. It was it Topic? I think it was Topic. It was Topic. Nikola Topic there to the San Antonio Spurs. Here with the Pistons, we went ahead and took Reed Shepherd. Yes, it was Reed Shepherd. And then finally here with the Charlotte Hornets, it was, where the hell is he? Matas Buzelis. All right, we're going ahead now, and we are making our pick here at number 7. It is going to be Stephon Castle. I know it says Castleton. Do not worry. I will change it. Now, the good news about the Trailblazers is they also have the 14th pick. Now, that is from the Golden State Warriors. It stems all the way back to the trade they made with the Celtics, landing them Drew Holiday. Yes, the long tenured Portland Trailblazer, Mr. Drew Holiday. But no, he was the piece, or one of the pieces that Portland got back in the deal for Damian Lillard, and obviously it didn't make much sense for them to hang on to him. So this 14th overall pick, I know it says Kings. You can ignore that fact. It is actually going to be from the Warriors, and we'll draft somebody there. I don't know exactly who, but we're going to go ahead and just see who we want to take. So let's just see. Actually, I got to sim all the way up. Shit, I got to do the rest. You know what? I'll be back. Now we've simulated all the way up to the 14th overall selection, and we're going to go ahead and select Adem Bona. He's out of UCLA, 6'9", really physical player, solid defensively overall, and ultimately the power forward, a little bit of a position of need here for the Portland Trail Blazers. So he's 21 as well, played 2 seasons in college. I think it makes a little bit of sense. So that's the last pick we're going to use here with Portland. I'm just going to trade away the second round picks we have. Again, I'm sure they'll take at least one in real life, and certainly, whoa. Okay. I certainly think second round picks can be beneficial. Are we not going to take that? Oh, it's because I'm usering the Hornets. All right, I'm not going to do that. Again, I know this is taking way too long. Who is a team that I am not using? I'm using all 3 of these teams. Fuck it, I'll just take the second. That's fine. All right, now I'll sim to the end of this. Let me deselect these teams. I get it. It's a shit show. Here with our 2 picks, Stephon Castle is going to be a 76 overall. Bona is going to be a 73, so certainly could find him minutes on this rebuilding Portland Trailblazers group. Team player option, Sharp Benton. Benton actually looked really, really good in some of the time he was here with the Portland Trailblazers. So excited to see what he can do. He's kind of like the third point guard we got, but we'll figure it out. And then qualifying, probably not with any of those guys right there. So a free agency class that doesn't necessarily see us have many major free agents. If we talk about this team now, which I guess we can do, so let's just get into it. Malcolm Brogdon was a piece that they acquired from the Celtics in the Drew Holiday trade. 31, obviously a veteran, former 6th man of the year. I don't necessarily think he's going to be a Trailblazer next season. I'm sure his name was talked about a lot at the deadline, but I just don't really see him in a long-term Trailblazer kind of fit. Scoot Henderson was the number 3. No, Yes, number 3. I'm losing it. It's way too early on a Monday morning. Number 3 overall pick, had an up and down rookie campaign, was not the best season all around. He was in the G League for a little while as well, but he's only 20, and he's 78 overall, and I certainly think he's shown enough for me to kind of commit to being one of the faces of this rebuild, so I have no plans moving on. Anthony Simons is 25. He's probably one of, if not the best player on this team right now, and I'm very excited to see how much we can actually look to develop him here, because I think he can be really good. Shaedon Sharpe, I want to find, a really solidified starting role. I don't know if it's going to be at the 3. I don't know if it'll be at the 2, and we'll move Simons around, but I like Shaedon Sharpe quite a bit. I think there's a lot of upside there, and I definitely want to get him a lot of minutes. Delano Banton is here. Again, we just picked up his team option. I don't necessarily think he'll get major minutes, but we'll kind of see. Stephon Castle, who we just drafted, I'm obviously going to change his name, can really play the 1, 2, or the 3. This is a guy who isn't a lethal shooter by any means. Some people have questioned a little bit of his athleticism, but he's very good in the pick and roll. He's a good facilitator, and he can drive the basketball. So a lot of the things that modern day scouts kind of look for, Stephon Castle has them, and obviously just won a championship at UConn. So I'm excited about it. He's only 19. He is certainly going to get a lot of minutes for us here today, just whether or not he's starting. Rupert, we'll see, only 20. Small forward spot, Jeremy Grant. They paid this man a whole lot of money, I guess, in an attempt to try to convince Damian Lillard to want to stay. Obviously, that did not happen, and I don't love this Jeremy Grant contract. I think there are teams that would be willing to take it on this offseason, and it certainly wouldn't surprise me if Portland looked to move him. So we'll see. Matisse Thybulle, good defensive player, not a lot there offensively. You kind of know what he's going to be at 27 years old already. Chris Murray's only 23, the brother of Keegan Murray. I would like to see how many minutes we can get him. I'd like to develop him as much as possible. Again, there's just a lot of guys here. A lot of guys going to be in front of him. Then the power forward spot. Toumani Camara is only 24. I would eventually like him to be kind of a rotation piece for us. As things stand right now, there's a possibility maybe he's starting for us. I don't know. Jabari Walker is only 21. Again, similar to Bona, I think there is some upside there just from a physicality standpoint. So we'll see. And then the center spot, DeAndre Ayton, who is very, very hit or miss. At certain times, looks like he's one of the worst players in the league. And then when he just flicks a switch, looks like he's one of the most dominant. So Ayton, obviously, former number 1 overall pick. Never really worked out as many kind of hoped it would in Phoenix, but I don't know. We got him here now. He's an 85 overall. Rob Will, maybe the most painful part of the Drew Holiday trade for me. I love Rob Will. I'm a Celtics fan. I'm sure many of you know that. He is so good defensively. The problem with Robert Williams is just his health. It's so unfortunate. He has a lot of upside when he's healthy, and just again, it's just not. It doesn't happen very often. So we'll see. And then Duop Reith here as well. So that is the team. Obviously not very good for a reason. And I'm not just going to run this back. I do think it would be beneficial to make at least 1 or 2 big trades. So let's go ahead and do that. Our first trade is going to be a very interesting one. It's going to come with the Oklahoma City Thunder, and it's going to land us Lou Dort and Cason Wallace. I am very excited about the opportunity of having both these players. We're going to get a little bit more defensive-oriented with this deal. Malcolm Brogdon and Jeremy Grant are both very, very solid veteran players, but ultimately this trade is going to save us a lot of money while having more upside in the long run. So that is the deal. Not really sure why Oklahoma City wants to do this, but if they want to, I am more than happy to make that trade happen. So I actually went ahead and moved Delano Banton back to the point guard spot. I thought there was a possibility we maybe get him some minutes, but now with the acquisition of Cason Wallace, I just don't really see that kind of really coming to fruition. So he could be on his way out as well. It's going to be Simons, and then Castle's actually going to be the backup. I understand this is his prospect rebuild, but that's just not always the way it goes. Guys just don't hop into the NBA and start on day one. So Castle will be the backup to Simons. I moved Sharpe here to the small forward spot, and then Lou Dort actually going to be his backup, meaning Matisse Thybulle could now be on his way out. And then what I'd like to do is find myself a starting power forward that's maybe just a little bit better. So that is maybe one more kind of major trade we're going to look for, but I'm very excited about the way we've started this rebuild so far. I said I wanted to upgrade my power forward spot, and I think Jonathan Kuminga would be a fantastic way to do that. That's for a couple different reasons. First and foremost, he's a clear upgrade to everybody we have at the power forward spot right now. And then second, he's still very, very young. Maybe not getting the minutes he's looking for in Golden State, and I really do think he'd find them here. So, Jabari Walker, Delano Banton, Rayon Rupert, and Duop Reith is my current offer right now. Again, I don't think there's any chance they actually take this straight up. They will not. I have a couple other players I could maybe move. Like, does Murray? Yeah, so the money aspect of it is going to kind of hurt us there. How about if I take out Reith? Could I fit in Murray there? I could. Okay, so now it's a little more feasible. How about a couple second-round picks and we shake hands and call it a day? Absolutely beautiful. Excited to get Jonathan Kuminga on this team. It cleans out a little bit of the depth we have. That is, although it's good, I just don't necessarily think a lot of those guys were going to play. So Kuminga's going to start, and I actually kind of want to get a Dembona a little bit of playing time. So maybe Kamara, but he is under contract and he is better. God, it's a tough decision. We're going to go ahead and move on from Matisse Thybulle. Doesn't necessarily fit the timeline perfectly well, and Lou Dort's just a little bit better player than he is. So yeah, that's tricky because there are good players here. There certainly are, but I think with Thibault having a team option or player option, that he'll likely decline, I think it does make sense to move on from him. So let's just see. Utah wants to do some pick swaps, all that stuff. I saw a trade from the Philadelphia 76ers. Spurs are willing to give me some draft picks as well. Let's just do this deal here with Philadelphia. Send Matisse back to Philly. I think that's fine. Makes, I guess, a little bit of sense, even though we're not necessarily trying to be realistic. And then I'll hang on to Duop Reith for now just because he has a team option. And then I am kind of torn right now. What I'm actually going to probably do is have Kamara play, and then I'll send Bona down to the G League and maybe develop a little bit. I don't really know. But this is the team. We're obviously not going to be very, very good. But you know what? We have definitely made steps in the right direction. Pretty interesting first offseason for us here in Portland. We went ahead and moved on from some of the veteran players on this team in Malcolm Brogdon, in Jeremy Grant, and I really do think this team has set ourselves up for some really good future success. So really solid young core now locked in here. Here's how it's going to look. It's Scoot Henderson, Anthony Simons, Shaedon Sharpe, Jonathan Kuminga, and then DeAndre Ayton. All 80-plus overalls. Very, very nice to see. I really do think this team can be really good in the future. Lou Dort is going to be my sixth man here. I'm big on defense. I like Lou Dort a lot, especially after he found his three-point shot. So he's going to be an 80 overall as our sixth man. You got Rob Will behind him there, Kaysen Wallace, Stephon Castle, and Toumani Camara. Again, it is a little strange that Castle's only going to be playing 14 minutes as a seventh overall pick. But it's just the way it kind of goes with the depth and the talent that we do have here. So excited. It's probably not going to be a great first season, but it is certainly a step in the right direction. See you guys at the end of year one. All things considered, not a terrible first season for us here in Portland. We go 36-46, which I'm sure is not good enough for even a play-in spot, but it is certainly, maybe above where we were expecting. I guess that's the nice way to say it. MVP number 4 for Nikola Jokic. Nikola Topic is your rookie of the year. Amen Thompson's your sixth man. Wemby, Depoy, Cade Cunningham, most improved. Steph Curry, clutch player. Mike Malone, 56 wins and a coach of the year there in Denver. All right, let's check out the standings. Let's just see how bad it was. And we were only, actually a little bit lower than I thought. But 13th seed here in the West, all things considered. Whoa. What the hell happened to the Clippers? God damn. What the hell happened to the Celtics? All right. There's a look at the East. A little bit of a surprise there for a couple different teams. But overall wise, I will take this season. I 1,000% will. Here are the numbers. It was Anthony Simons, Jonathan Kuminga, who we obviously made the deal with Golden State to pick up. Had a really solid first season for us. Happy to see him in a starting lineup. Shaedon Sharpe, DeAndre Ayton, Henderson. Not bad. 15, 3.5, 5. Shooting percentage, 45% isn't great, and then 29% from 3. Just, you got to stop shooting them if that's where you're at. Lou Dort, Castle, Rob Will, Wallace, and then Kamara. Rebounds per game is going to be Ayton, and assists Henderson. All right. Let's sim through the playoffs as we approach off-season number 2, because there's a lot we can do with this team. There's a lot of flexibility we've kind of set ourselves up for. It is going to be a Timberwolves and a New York Knicks final, and it is going to be the Knicks in 7. Did the Timberwolves blow a 3-1 lead? I would have saw Jalen Brunson. God damn, superstar. All right, it is off-season number 2. LeBron James officially calling it a career, staff retirements, Hall of Fame inductees, jersey retirements, draft lottery. This is a big moment for us. Our pick, it's going to say it's going to Chicago, but we are actually going to keep it. I'll just read it off to you right now just so you are all very much aware of what the situation is. So Portland's 2025 first-round pick to Chicago, protected for selections 1 through 14 and 25, 1 through 14 and 26, and 1 through 14 and 27 and 28. And then it's just a second-round pick if none of those happen. So in all likelihood, it is going to go back to the Bulls next season. We are going to get to keep it for now, though, because it lands at number 8. So I'm going to go ahead and get that pick back. I have a decision to make on Chauncey Billups. I still think that was a good enough year to let him finish out the contract that he has with 1 year, $8 million remaining on his deal. So I'm going to hang on to him for now. I understand that might be a little bit of a risky decision as we head into what will hopefully be, a little bit of a next step, and as we look to make the playoffs next year. So maybe not the best decision, but I'm letting Chauncey ride it out. Let me get my draft pick back, and then I will see you guys either with the trade or in the draft. Some of you Trailblazers fans might get mad at me for this, and I honestly understand if you're going to. We're going to make a trade here with the Sacramento Kings. It's going to land us De'Aaron Fox. It's DeAndre Ayton and the 8th overall pick for Fox and Herter, and this is a deal that obviously is going to put a little bit of a halt in the development of Scoot Henderson. And for that, I'm going to say that I can't just keep running back the same thing, right? Something has to give at some point. I do not want to head into the third and final season kind of in a panic almost. We're going to get a star here in De'Aaron Fox, who is certainly a better player than Scoot Henderson. So that's not me saying I'm trading Henderson. There's a very viable possibility. I just have him come off the bench. But we are getting a significant upgrade here with De'Aaron Fox in a trade I am very, very excited about. So welcome to the team. No draft picks for us this year. We're going to go ahead and bring back all of these players right here. And then we're just going to have to decide how many of these starters we want to bring back. As you can see, Jonathan Kuminga will be entering restricted free agency. In terms of the money we have right now, it's really not a lot of spending power, which is fine. I am pretty happy with the way things are right now. So we're going to pay Kuminga. He's going to come back on a 4-year, $108 million deal, and then we're going to have to make at least 1 or 2 more trades. This is kind of where we're at right now, but I wanted to kind of strike at the right moment in terms of a major move. That De'Aaron Fox trade came about. It looked like it was the right time for it because we don't want to bank on development heading into a championship or bust season. It's the way 3-year rebuilds go. I understand many of you are looking for 5-year, 7-year, 10-year rebuilds. They're coming after the draft. I get it. But that's just the way things are for a 3-year. And it kind of shows different challenges you kind of have to go about. So now we are going to turn our attention elsewhere and find another upgrade. I'd absolutely love to add Alperen Şengün to this team. He'd be a huge upgrade, especially offensively at our center spot, and I really do think right now is the correct time to go ahead and pull a trigger on a trade like this. So Kevin Huerter, who we just got in the De'Aaron Fox deal, Cason Wallace, who unfortunately is just kind of the odd man out after that Fox trade. You know, we have Scoot Henderson now as our backup point guard. This is obviously Stephon Castle's rebuild, so he's not going anywhere as our backup shooting guard. So unfortunately, it probably is Wallace, but I really do think he'll help facilitate the trade. And then Kamara and Duop Reith are kind of in here to make the money work, but I also don't necessarily have spots for them heading into next year. So Alperen Şengün, how about that's it? Easy as that? All right. Well, I'm very excited to have him here. It's going to be a little bit of fire and ice here with Şengün and Rob Will. One really offensively kind of focused here with Şengün. A lot more defense here with Rob Will. So that's kind of where things stand right now. Honestly, I don't plan on making many other major changes to this team. You know, I'd really like to see this team kind of have another year of development and kind of see if we can continue to trend in the right direction. So I know I use that term a lot. It's just kind of the way I'm feeling about this rebuild. So I'll see you guys at the start of year 2. I am very excited for the possibilities with this team. We obviously made 2 major trades this past offseason, adding both De'Aaron Fox and Alperen Şengün to a team that was already really established as a solid young core. It's Fox, it's Simons, a little bit of an undersized backcourt. Fortunately, this is 2K. It'll probably work. It's not a backcourt I'd love in real life, but it should work here in 2K anyways. No idea why Shaedon Sharpe's overall is kind of going down. He does not seem happy with the situation, but I mean, he's starting playing 33 minutes a night. I don't really know why he's upset. Kuminga here at the 4. We obviously ended up bringing him back in the new addition with Şengün as our starting center. The bench unit. Scoot Henderson takes over as a 6th man. Again, this is not a move I would ever make in real life. I want to develop Scoot as much as possible, but that's just kind of the way these 3-year rebuilds go. Rob Will is our backup center. Stephon Castle now getting 16 minutes a night as a backup, shooting guard. He's a 80 overall, and then it's Lou Dort and Adem Bona. So that's the team. Again, I think this can be a competitive group. I don't know if we're going to be competing for the top spot in the West, but this is definitely a playoff team, at least in my opinion. I'll see you guys at the end of year 2. Just a fantastic all-around second season for us here in Portland as we go 52-30. It is a safe assumption that that is good enough for a playoff spot and maybe even a competitive playoff run. We'll find out. Giannis wins his 3rd career MVP. Cooper Flagg is a Houston Rocket Rookie of the Year. Dillingham in Oklahoma City, 6th man. Wemby Depoy, Alex Sarr, Most Improved. Jokic, Clutch Player of the Year. And Steve Kerr, wow, the Warriors. Typically, the Warriors kind of fizzle out a lot in these rebuilds, so good to see them. I mean, you got to change that picture of Steve Kerr because it's been around longer than I have, but good God. Let's get into it. All right, standings. We're the 2 seed. We are the 2 seed here in the West. A little bit of a surprise. We completely blow by the play-in. Now we're going to be facing a play-in team. Love to see it. We had the 2nd best record in the league. Awesome. Absolutely fantastic. Here are the numbers. Here are how things look. De'Aaron Fox, Shaedon Sharpe, Simons, Kuminga, Şengün, Henderson, Castle, Dort, Williams, and Bona. Again, this team is very, very nicely built. That's not me complimenting myself. It's just complimenting the pieces we have because everything doesn't really have to go through one guy. We have a lot of different options. It is John Morant, Desmond Bane, Lauri Markkanen, Santi Aldama, Triple J, Vucevic off the bench. That is a really talented Grizzlies team. I am excited to see this matchup. They're going to be challenging, and maybe not, as we are up 3-0. They do win Game 4, and we do end up closing them out in 5. All right, now we have the Denver Nuggets, who were somehow a 6 seed, but they are... Oh, they lost Jamal Murray, added Paul George. Okay. Didn't mean to do that. I understand Nikola Jokic is still here, and that certainly scares me a bit, and now it's 2-2. I'd like to just wrap this up. Okay, Game 7. Thank you. Okay, Western Conference Finals. The Thunder, who are somehow a 4 seed, for once in their life did not add OG Anunoby. My gut is telling me that is because we traded them Jeremy Grant. And they didn't have the money to go out and sign OG Anunoby, but they are certainly a talented group, and I'm a little nervous, I'm not going to lie. We split the first 2 on our home floor, drop Game 3, drop Game 4, and we get bounced in 5. Not the way I wanted it to end, but ultimately a really, really good run, and they do go on to win it all, so... That's fine. We are going to enter this final offseason, certainly with some big decisions on what we want to do with this team. James Harden, jersey retirements, draft lottery. We're not going to have our draft pick, which, again, that's totally fine by me. I don't see any Trailblazers logos, so it looks like we don't have anybody else's. Lakers end up with the number 1 overall pick. This is a big moment. Obviously, Chauncey Billups is now a coaching free agent, whatever the hell you want to call it, and we kind of have our choice in who we want to go out to get. So there are some names here. Obviously, Stauffer. Quinn Snyder sitting here as well. Nick Nurse is sitting here. I'd love to make a run at Nick Nurse or even Mike Malone. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to offer Stauffer, Nurse, and Malone contracts because we're definitely going to get Stauffer. At least I hope so, because you can see he has 0 offers. But I'd prefer to get one of Nurse or Malone just because they're not guys I typically, anyways, go out and get. So we're going to give them all, I guess, a max coaching contract, whatever the hell you want to call it. And then Stauffer will just do the same thing. So hopefully we 100% at least land one. Mike Malone sitting here. We kind of looks like we actually have our choice. I'm going to go with Malone. I'm going to go with Mike Malone. Obviously, a championship-winning head coach. Welcome to Portland. All right, let's head up to the draft. Let's see if we have any draft picks at all. And we do. One from the Houston Rockets. It's at number 16. I don't know. I don't really feel like I need it, and who am I really trading right now, right? You know what? I'll actually draft somebody, and then maybe if we're going to make a bigger trade, they'll be in it. Okay. Interesting. I don't know this draft class. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and pretend that I do. So Caleb Wilson, welcome to Portland for now. I don't really know. He's going to be a 74 overall for us. Team player options. Everybody here is going to be coming back. And I still think it could be somewhat beneficial maybe to make one more trade, but I don't know. We have a lot of free agents. Let's first and foremost start out there. De'Aaron Fox, got to pay Anthony Simons, who does have 5 offers, none of which are really anything serious, so we're going to do that. And then Shaedon Sharpe can wait, and I'd like to get Rob Will back as well. So we get all 3 of those guys. We will wait on Sharpe, and then everybody else is back. Now we're going to pay Shaedon Sharpe, who wants $34 million a season. God damn. But we got the funds for it, so let's do that. Welcome back, all of you. And now, do we want to pull the trigger on one more kind of somewhat large move? I'm not totally against it, but hang with me. I think adding Jaren Jackson Jr. to this team would kind of be the final piece, right? There was absolutely nothing wrong with Jonathan Kuminga. Maybe a little bit of, I don't want to say underwhelming performances, but that overall is also just not moving as fast as I thought it would. And Jaren Jackson Jr. would be a significant upgrade, especially defensively next to Sengun. So Lou Dort, Dembana, and Caleb Wilson is what I'm currently offering. Again, it is a lot to give up in terms of our depth, but I do think it's going to be worth it to get another star player here in Triple J. So we have some draft picks we can move on from. It is the final season. I can't take them with me, so it doesn't really matter in that aspect. Triple J going back to the power forward spot also makes a lot more sense. He is not a fantastic rebounder. It just means I don't know why you'd play him at center. So right now, we have a couple different paths. We can sign a different backup small forward, or we can do something that I don't do a lot these days and kind of run a 9-man rotation. I think it would be fine letting Stephon Castle and Kuminga kind of split the backup small forward minutes, and this would also allow our starting players to get even more playing time, which kind of feels like the right choice right now. So that's the way we're going to go. I'll see you guys at the start of the 3rd and final regular season. Last season, we exceeded all expectations. We won 52 games. We were the 2nd seed in a really good Western Conference, and we made a run all the way to the Western Conference Finals. Now, unfortunately, we don't do these rebuilds for Western Conference Finals appearances. We do these rebuilds to win championships. This offseason, we obviously added even another big name in Jaren Jackson Jr., and we were heading into a championship or bust final regular season. So here's how it's going to look. It is De'Aaron Fox, Anthony Simons, who, funny enough, the game wants Castle to start. I could do that. I'm also surprised Simons overall really hasn't moved at all. A little bit concerning, but it is what it is. Shaedon Sharpe, Jaren Jackson Jr., Alperen Şengün. Bench unit's going to be a 4-man bench unit with only a 9-man rotation with Scoot Henderson, Jonathan Kuminga, Stephon Castle, and Rob Will. So 82 plus overall, 9-man rotation. It's a thing of beauty. It is very, very good team, and I am hoping it's a championship team. I will see you guys at the end of the final regular season. By far our best regular season yet at 63-19. We are hoping for a very, very long and successful playoff run. Luka, another MVP. This time he does it in Utah. Actually, he has won an MVP yet this video, but you get my point. LZ Harrington went number 1 overall to the Lakers. He's your rookie of the year. Rob Dillingham, 6th man of the year in OKC. Wemby just renamed the award. Collier, most improved. Jokic, clutch player of the year. Mike Malone, our new head coach, is your coach of the year. All right, we are feeling good. You can see we're the 1 seed right there. Here's a look at the full standings. We are 4 games up on the Luka-led Utah Jazz, and it was the best record in all of basketball. So I'm happy. I am feeling good, but I need a championship. Not a single player for us averaged 20-plus points a game, but we did have, 7 guys in double digits in terms of scoring? Beautiful. Rebounds was Şengün, and assists was Mr. Fox. All right. Sacramento Kings. We took De'Aaron Fox from them, and I'm not going to lie, this team doesn't move me very much. Sabonis is great, but there's just no way in hell. Thank you. All right, Thunder here. This is the team that won it all last season. Whether you love them or hate them, whatever, they're a pain in the ass. They're good, and I'd like to win, so can we get by them? We are 1-1. We split the first two. We go up 2-1. That's a big one. That's even bigger, and that is the biggest. That is a 4-1 series victory, and now it is Luka in the Jazz, and yeah, I mean, it doesn't move me. Whoa, that went 6. All right, us and the Cleveland Cavaliers. It is Peyton Pritchard, Darius Garland at the 2. This has to be the shortest backcourt in NBA history. Grayson Allen. Okay, you know what? There's no way. Wow, that went 7 as well. Holy shit. In Şengün Finals MVP. All right, I got a little ahead of myself there. I am thankful when it ended up turning out, kind of the way we wanted it to. Crazy to think this is a Stephon Castle rebuild. I didn't mean to, not like harp on him, kind of try to grow him as much as possible, but end of the day, it's just the reality of it. And, as much as you'd like every lottery pick to turn into a star and, be that guy that plays 35 minutes a game, puts up 28 points, it's just not the reality for everybody, especially in a draft class like this that is, at this point anyways, considered a little bit weaker. So Castle had a really complimentary role in this team. He did his job, and I really do think he'd be a nice fit. I really do. So that's my take on that. Let me know any comments down below in terms of other rebuilds, how you think Stephon Castle would fit here in Portland, anything else. So that's it for me. As always, thanks so much for watching. I love you guys. I'll catch you guys all in the next one.